them a motive and have them take action on it. That's what motivation is about. That's how you define it. You know, motive and action or ation. So, yes, it's a big part of what I do.
Can a coach find himself in trouble when there is the superstar player who is popular with the fans and who has won the approval of the owner and doesn't really respond to what a coach is?
But he's not a winner then, you see. He's a loser. He really is. Because what this is all about, it's about 12 players and 3 or 4 coaches that have to voluntarily cooperate with a philosophy. You're either in or you're out. The only way you're ever going to truly be successful in the NBA as a great player is to voluntarily to cooperate, to become part of, and not to always be a dissenter, and to understand that there are universal rights and wrongs when it comes to being a team player. So, you know, they either get it or they don't.
Do you think he did the right thing by playing in the All-Star game, and is it good that he's playing in the Olympics?
It's great. He's going to live his life, and I think one of the worst things you can do is to quit your life and quit doing the things that you have a passion for. So basketball is his passion, and he's going to stay actively involved in it, and playing in the All-Star game was great for everybody, and it was great for the whole message. I mean, he's gotten it out even more and more, and here it is, live, living in color, Irvin Johnson with HIV positive, and you can still live your life. And I think that's the greatest message that he could put out there for people who are inflicted with this disease.
In Los Angeles, it was never really discussed. I mean, you did so much there and were so successful, and Coach of the Year finally came, and then it appeared as if you were forced out or asked to leave by the Lakers. Mm-hmm. Is that what happened?
Well, again, you know, that's the only thing that I'm embarrassed about. I never talked about this. But that's the only thing I'm really embarrassed about, because it's not true. But I'm not going to defend it. People would not just acknowledge the fact that I knew it was time to go. Personally. It had run its course for me personally, and maybe even for the team. And I dealt with it in a very honest, real way by resigning. But because that wasn't good enough, they had to find all the agendas and all the hidden things that weren't there and make something out of it that it wasn't. That's what embarrassed me about the whole thing. So, no, I wasn't forced out. I was offered a 10-year contract by Jerry Buss to stay, but it was time to go.
Will there be a special feeling when you go back to the Forum next week?
I'll have mixed emotions, you know, because I was 20 years there in the organization, and a lot of great moments and a lot of great memories and a lot of great friends. Now I'm gone. I'm out of it. That whole organization has been de-Rileyized, okay? and it happened quick, you know, and I could tell you some funny stories, but I won't. I'll save them for a book someday, but they're on. I cannot live in the past. I'll always have nothing but respect and show nothing but respect for that organization, you know, but I got a team that I have to coach now that I'm passionately involved with, and that's the New York Knicks. So I'll have some mixed emotions, but I'll have to get on with the job.
One difference, your big celebrity, instead of Jack Nicholson, you have Woody Allen now.
I haven't seen him one time. You know,
he's there.
Yeah, you know, he must keep himself somewhere. I haven't seen him, so next time, Woody, stand up and raise your hand and say, Pat, here I am.
Jack Nicholson, all those years sitting by, and do you talk to him? Did you talk to him much? Talk baskets?
You know, I mean, Jack Nicholson is a pure, unadulterated basketball fanatic, period. He never came into the locker room. He was never hanging around. He came to the Lakers. He watched the games. He enjoyed them, and he went home. So from that standpoint, everybody thinks that, well, coaches and players had this personal relationship with Jack Nicholson because he's such a permanent fixture, but that wasn't the case.
After you left the Lakers and were in broadcasting, were there any other teams that called and said, hey, Patty, interested in coaching?
I was not interested at all in really coaching unless it was a New York job. I mean, that's basically the only place that I was going to go.
Really? And you made that money?
It was in my mind.
When you left L.A., that was the way you were thinking?
I had a vision. Why not?
Why New York, then? Why was that?
Because it's, I think it's where it's the hottest, and I'm talking about the competition. I think the consequences are just as severe, and I think that in one way can be exhilarating if you don't win, and I think the upside is huge. So, you know, why not go down there where it's toughest and dive in? I also believe that with Patrick Ewing that this could become a very, very successful team, and I was convinced of that by Dave Checketts, and ever since Dave has brought me aboard, I think we have been moving in a good direction.
Your wife, who was a psychologist, Chris, at one time, was it this year where she told you to smile more because of the positive effect when things weren't going well?
It was another reality statement, wasn't it? Yeah.
Could you elaborate on that brief story?
Well,
there?
I believe in two things. I believe there's winning and misery, you know, and even when we win, I'm miserable. So, I mean, that's just, you know, but there's a lot of levity to me, believe it or not. It just isn't shown publicly, but this was a time when we weren't doing very well, and there was a lot of pressure, and I sort of created a lot of pressure on myself, and as I was explaining to her the problem of the day, she said, you know, Pat, every now and then just sort of, you know, smile. Just smile. She said, it just warms you up and everybody up. I never thought about it that way, and then I do believe there's something to that. So at least once a day I try to smile now, even when I'm miserable.
You know, the players see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll even kid me now every now and then. Come on, Coach, just come on. Just one little smile.
Sunday's Conversation is brought to you by Ektar Film from Kodak for advanced photographers.
When Xavier McDaniel was traded from Seattle to Phoenix last season, he was expected to help the Suns rise to the top of the Western Conference. McDaniel gave the Suns what they were looking for in terms of scoring and rebounding. Those aspects of his game remain consistent. However, McDaniel was expected to deliver more than he could. And when the Suns departed the playoffs in the first round, the X-Man departed Phoenix. In New York, it has been an up and down experience. But Xavier has given the Knicks additional scoring punch. Last month, McDaniel faced his former club at the Garden and came out on top. Tonight, for the first time, the X-Man Xavier McDaniel makes his return to Phoenix.
Knicks basketball is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers. For everything in home electronics, music, and movies, nobody beats the Wiz. And by The Card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Welcome to the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, Arizona for the second meeting of the season between the New York Knicks and the Phoenix Suns. The Suns at 34-21 have dropped off recently, but they're only 4 games behind Golden State and Portland. The Knicks on top in the Atlantic Division at 34-19. They're now 4.5 in front of Boston. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with John Andres, and for the Knicks, it is the start of a 3-game Western trip. The Knicks coming off the victory over Denver on Saturday night at the Garden, sparked by Patrick Ewing, who had another solid effort against his good friend Dikembe Mutombo. And Patrick Ewing has only nice personal thoughts when he thinks back to the earlier meeting against the Phoenix Suns in New York back in January.
Yes, the Knicks were on a prowl for a good win against a quality opponent, and they certainly had it that night on January 5th in New York. They played very well in the game that went into overtime. They were led by Patrick Ewing, as you mentioned, Marv. He was slam dunking plenty of times that night with 15 field goals. John Starks hit him on a fast break as Patrick beat everyone down court. Then in the fourth quarter, leading to overtime, Patrick hit a key jump shot down the stretch. He had many big plays in the fourth quarter that helped the win for the Knicks in that one. Patrick finished with 50 minutes of playing time out of 53, 37 points on 15 out of 35 from the field, also added 13 rebounds, and the Knicks would love to see that many points from Patrick here on the road in Phoenix.
And Phoenix comes off a win over the Los Angeles Clippers here on Saturday night, but they have struggled recently, only 2-5 since the All-Star break. This despite what has to be considered a star-studded lineup.
Yes, this is a team, the Phoenix Suns, that has had many star-studded players through the years, and 4 of them, as a matter of fact, who have made the All-Star team. Tom Chambers 4 times, Kevin Johnson twice, and this year's additions, Dan Marley and Jeff Hornacek, have made it once. But when the Suns are going well, it seems this year it's because of Tim Perry's fine play. Tim Perry had a fine game in New York. A couple of times he was very impressive with a rebound at one point, dribbled the length of the court right through the Knicks defenders and slam dunked that basketball. And then when Tim was in traffic around the Knicks defenders, he got a nice pass from Hornacek, went right in over Patrick Ewing for a slam dunk. Now, the record says that when Tim Perry is in the starting lineup, the Phoenix Suns are 30-12. So that is why this guy, who it was doubted really for a long time whether he was going to make it with this franchise, but with his play of late, that's the reason he's there now.
Yes, he has been a late bloomer. Big crowd on hand as always here in Phoenix. Another sellout in the Valley of the Sun. We'll be back with the starting lineups in a moment. And we're just about set for the introduction of the lineups as the Knicks and the Suns get set to meet for the second time this season. Knicks beating Phoenix 108-104 in overtime back in early January. The Suns had won the previous 3 against the Knicks, and they have won 7 of the last 10. And we are set now to join with the public address.
At home from Wichita State, number 32, Xavier McDaniel. At forward from Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. At center from Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. At guard from St. John's, number 13, Mark Jackson. And at guard from Tennessee Chattanooga, number 21, Gerald Wilkins. Gentlemen, with head coach Cotton Fitzsimmons, assistant coaches Paul Westphal and Lionel Hollins, the trainer Joe Buskey, and assistant trainer Matt Anderson, here's the starting lineup for your Phoenix Suns. At forward from Utah, number 24, Tom Chambers. At forward from Temple, number 34, Tim Perry. From Arkansas, number 28, Andrew Lang. At guard from Iowa State, number 14, Jeff Hornacek. And at guard from California, number 7, Kevin Johnson.
Did they borrow something from Chicago Stadium, John?
Absolutely, plagiarism going on. The opening music here in Phoenix is the same as we hear in Chicago, but at least the lights are on here.
And there is the Cotton Man, 61-year-old Cotton Fitzsimmons out of Hannibal, Missouri. We asked Cotton earlier, with the success of Patrick Ewing against the Suns in New York, how do the Suns plan to defend against Ewing?
Well, Patrick's hard to defend. He's a tough player. He's a great player. We'll still try him one-on-one with Mark West, Andrew Lang playing him. If he puts the ball down on the floor, then we'll collapse on him. I wasn't as concerned with these 35 points and all his shots. I was concerned with those 2 block shots he made at the end of the game and saved the game for the Knicks.
Patrick Ewing played 50 minutes in that overtime game. 15 for 35 from the field. 13 rebounds and 4 block shots.
But the big one was when Kevin Johnson came in from the side in the closing moments and Patrick denied him, blocked that shot. That's what saved the game.
The officials, Tommy Nunez, Paul Mahalik, and Louis Grillo. Andrew Lang will go on the opening tip. against Patrick Ewing. Andrew Lang in his 4th year out of Arkansas, 2nd-round pick in '88. Excellent shot blocker. Tip controlled by the Knicks. Mark Jackson and Gerald Wilkins in the backcourt. Patrick Ewing, Xavier McDaniel, and Charles Oakley are up front. And here is Ewing. The Knicks with a 2-0 lead.
Too easy. Phoenix Suns have got to think about double teaming Patrick if that kind of move continues.
Kevin Johnson and Jeff Hornacek in the backcourt. Tom Chambers, who you mentioned earlier, has been hurting as of late in the 7 games with a pulled muscle. And Lang coughed it up. Lang is up front along with Perry and Chambers. Wilkins played by Hornacek. Off the fake, Gerald Wilkins has given the Knicks a 4-0 lead. Here's Chambers. It counts. And the foul. Tom Chambers missed 7 straight games with the hamstring problem.
Well, Kevin Johnson pushing that ball up court, picks out a familiar sight, and the 6'10" Tom Chambers, that looked rather easy as well for the Suns.
Chambers a 79% free throw shooter. Saturday night, the Suns knocked off the Clippers 130-112. An outstanding all-around game for Kevin Johnson. 38 points, 12 for 20 from the field, and he also had 11 assists. Phoenix shot 56% from the floor. Ewing with the spin, and he is hit by Lang.
Marv, it will be no surprise, although Ewing took a little blow on that one, revealing some pain. It'd be no surprise if Lang doesn't last long. Patrick with a little variety now in his attack. He didn't go for the jump shot, took an elbow in the face on that move from Lang. But Lang against the Clippers in their last game, as you mentioned, played 16 minutes, fouled out. In the prior game against Golden State, a loss, he played 13 minutes, had 4 fouls. And 3 games ago against Seattle, he played 18 minutes and fouled out. So Cotton Fitzsimmons may have to go to Mark West sooner than expected.
Pat Riley has to be pleased to see Patrick Ewing at the foul line, although I don't know if Patrick would want to take that kind of blow to get back there, but he did not go to the line at all Saturday against Denver. Here's Perry. And Perry able to get back to it. It's the Knicks 6 and the Suns 2. Perry with the spin. Rejected by Ewing. Here's Lang. And Kevin Johnson able to get to it.
Ewing showed perfect timing, but Kevin Johnson, the guard, hurt the Knicks on that play.
Xavier McDaniel making his return to Phoenix is being guarded by Tim Perry. Nice pick and roll. Ewing from Wilkins, and the Knicks lead by the score of 8-4. Espn has been trying to low-key the fact that he's coming back here. Of course, he did not play very long for the Suns, most of his career in Seattle. Chambers cuts it to an 8-6 Knicks lead. Did get a nice reaction during the introductions, but Xavier McDaniel telling everyone just another ball game, but you know that's not true. Xavier had it knocked away, thought he was fouled. Pretty pass from Johnson to Hornacek, and the game is tied at 8.
Xavier very unhappy about that last call, but the thing is, when he goes into his spinning preceding a shot, he's got to be careful of what just happened. 3 people came right around him and took that ball away.
Espn had a good one, though, against the Suns at the Garden. 16 points, 12 rebounds, couple of key buckets down the stretch. Ewing, and he is fouled. Patrick Ewing surprised to see that he had that clear path to the basket, and then Chambers got him from behind.
No box out by the Suns. As you say, Marv, it was a surprise, but fortunately for him, he couldn't grasp that ball for the slam.
What you did was illegal, bro. I told you. I let you go. I just want to tell you about it, right?
After that, excuse me, Marv, after that game in New York that Ewing played 50 minutes in, Pat Riley was quoted as saying, we're trying to challenge Ewing to get to the line more. A point you mentioned a moment ago, more than 8 times a game. In New York against the Suns, he was the line 13 times, made only 7, but already in this one he's showing how he can hurt people by drawing fouls.
And Patrick Ewing hitting on his first 4 at the free throw line. The Knicks 10 and the Suns 8. Patrick Ewing 8 of the Knicks 10 points. 3 minutes gone by. Hornacek. What a gorgeous jump shot he has. Doesn't need the dribble. Shows the strength in the wrist to unleash from deep. Here's Ewing. Yes. So Ewing with 10 of the Knicks 12 points, and the Knicks lead at 12-10.
I think Cotton may be rethinking his double teaming perspective there. He said, we're not going to double team him.
There's Johnson. And the Knicks have a 2-on-1. McDaniel going right by Hornacek.
Very deceptive fake by McDaniel. Usually it's the guards that pull off a move like that.
The Knicks lead by 4, and a timeout is taken by the Suns. 3:50 gone by in the first quarter. Wilkins with the step.
TWA.
Party right. Please use good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
The Knicks have opened up by hitting 5 out of their first 6 from the field. Phoenix at 5 for 10. The Knicks with a 14-10 lead. And Patrick Ewing with 10 of the 14 Knick points. It is Phoenix ball as we resume. Both clubs remaining the same following that early Phoenix timeout. Johnson going right by Jackson, is stopped by Ewing. And here's Jackson with Wilkins on the wing. Feeds Oakley, and he blew the layup. Not only blew it, threw a brick.
That's unbelievable.
Jackson with a steal. Jackson, yes. Mark Jackson off the steal, able to hit the jump, and the Knicks now lead at 16-10.
Well, that sequence by the Knicks may help Charles forget that layup he shouldn't have missed.
And a blocking foul charged to Oakley.
Foul number 34, Charles Oakley, his second team foul.
Mark Jackson quickly attacking Kevin Johnson. Not easy to do. Johnson's so good with the basketball, and Mark takes the jump shot right on target. More and more confidence from Mark Jackson from the shooting department.
Kevin Johnson to the foul line. There you see the numbers. One of the NBA's top point guards. Last year, he averaged 10 assists, 4th in the NBA, averaged 22 points. So Kevin Johnson's numbers have been down this season. Oakley sitting down, replaced by Mason. But Kevin is second in assists to John Stockton. Mark Jackson has made a move in recent weeks, number 5 in that department. It's the Knicks 16, and the Suns 11. Ewing, rebounded by Perry. Here's Kevin Johnson. So the Knicks lead is now 3. Jackson. Chambers with the rebound. Jeff Hornacek, who represented the Phoenix Suns in the All-Star game. Perry trying to put moves on Mason. There's Perry on the recovery. And Lang decides to throw out. Hornacek from downtown. The game is tied at 16.
6th best in the NBA. Jeff Hornacek from three-point range.
And Paul Mahalik with the call. It's away from the ball against the Suns. It's called on Perry. Tim Perry in his 4th season out of Temple, a local product in terms of the New York Knicks from Freehold. New Jersey. The feeling always was regarding Perry that he runs and jumps so well, but what about the rest of his game? Patrick Ewing continues his onslaught. The Knicks now lead by 2.
That was with a double team of Chambers coming over also to help out Lang, and Patrick succeeded over the both of them.
Getting back to the subject of Perry, though, his offense has been improving, although they're not looking for it on a regular basis because he does so much else that helps the club. Ewing, once again, getting a piece of it. Chambers thought that he was fouled. Continues the discussion with Paul Mahalik as he moves down the court. Chambers coming around to knock it away, but the Knicks get it back.
Mason was wide open. Gerald missed him.
Shot clock at 5. Wilkins with the fake. Nice move by Gerald Wilkins. The Knicks 20 and the Suns 16.
Marv, 1 week ago when the Suns played Seattle, Cotton Fitzsimmons told the man with the ball, Kevin Johnson, you've got to shoot the ball more. You're only taking 12, 13 shots a game. Boy, did he listen to the coach. Since then, Kevin Johnson has been red hot. Johnson went out the next night against Portland, 40 points. Friday night, Seattle, 32, and then finished Saturday with 38. So he will shoot the ball once he gets over half court.
Ewing again seeing the double team. Last touch by Hornacek. Now here comes Mark West replacing Andrew Lang. See the spree by Kevin Johnson. The last 3 games, 38, 32, and 40. Shot clock at 4. Wilkins for 3. Yes! Gerald Wilkins from long range. And the Knicks now lead 23-16. In the earlier game against Phoenix at the Garden, Gerald hit 2 from downtown. West getting the step.
When you gamble as Ewing did, you better sense that someone's behind you, and Patrick had no one behind him to help.
The Knicks lead by 5. Hornacek all over Wilkins.
Visiting Knicks red hot, close to 70% here in the opening quarter.
Just under 4 minutes remaining in the first. West setting a very effective pick. It counts. And the foul.
Boy, Ewing unhappy about that.
Well, he felt Mark West was on the move as he was setting that screen.
Mark Jackson in front of Kevin Johnson. Get an idea of Kevin Johnson's explosiveness. Ewing makes a swipe at him, not good enough. One thing about Kevin Johnson, at 6'1", he is fearless. He's looking for some blood from Patrick Ewing swipes. He's fearless. He'll dunk over anybody.
Dan Marley has come on. Knicks now lead 23-21. John Starks on the floor for the first time. He hurt the Suns in that previous game, particularly defensively against Kevin Johnson. Here's the X-Man. Ewing missing the emphatic stuff attempt. And it will be Phoenix ball. Now Johnson and Marley in the backcourt. West up front with Chambers and Perry. 3.5 to go in the first quarter. Chambers. And he's tied the game at 23.
Such an outstanding scorer. Chambers is able to get that ball up at any angle, it seems, with a soft touch.
Here's Starks. Oh, what a move by John Starks. Able to brush by Chambers. And he's given the Knicks a 25-23 lead. Kevin Johnson saw the opening, and he'll go to the line.
Now, Pat Riley has to be concerned about the outside people beating the Knicks defenders outside. This penetration continually by the Suns.
Timeout call, 2:57 remaining in the first.
If you're
Well, the Knicks with a 25-23 lead on the Phoenix Suns. Watch this move off the pick by John Starks.
This is athleticism. Not only does he avoid the stumble, comes out of that, but then when the defense comes on him, he adjusts the shot, the intended shot, to get it over the defense, and he did it beautifully.
John Starks trying to snap out of it. He's been on a downslide his last 14 games. He's hit only 39%, average 11 points per game, which is a drop-off from the way he was going earlier. He had a tremendous all-around game, though, against Phoenix in New York. 14 of his 16 points coming in the fourth quarter and overtime. And I mentioned the strong defensive effort. He gave Kevin Johnson all kinds of problems. Game is tied at 25. Kiki Vandeweghe has come on for the first time. Vandeweghe over Marley and rebounded by West.
Marley worked hard enough to distract Vandeweghe. Kiki was determined to shoot.
Johnson on the penetration.
He's killing Mark Jackson. And the shame of it is Mark has been playing so well, and Pat Riley's got to make decisions on this, and it appears he is as we see Greg Anthony get up.
12 points for Kevin Johnson. Knicks trailing by 2. Ewing from deep. Oh, he is doing it from every conceivable angle. And the game is tied at 27. Patrick Ewing has 14 points. Chambers was met by Starks. Good play by Starks. Suns able to get back. Greg Anthony over at the scorer's table getting set to come on. Shot clock is at 8. They double up on Ewing. Now it's a one-on-one. Here's Ewing again from deep. Yes.
Oh, and West made a good move with the hand up in his face. Those are the signs that it's going to be a long night for the Suns.
16 for Ewing. The Knicks lead 29-27. And now here comes Greg Anthony replacing Mark Jackson. Chambers pulling his way through the foul. It counts.
That's an example of why Tom Chambers is a four-time NBA All-Star, and he looks like he's in All-Star form here tonight. Well played by Mason. Mason bumped him out, didn't give him the room to penetrate, but Chambers has options. He constantly has ways to get that shot up.
Three-point play for Chambers, and the Suns lead it 30-29. We're coming up on 1 minute remaining in the first quarter. Starks with the hesitation dribble. Stopped by Hornacek. What a play by Jeff Hornacek. Here comes Marley. Hornacek with the open jump.
Can't leave him open like that.
Suns 32 and the Knicks 29. Hornacek has 9. He's hit 4 out of 4. And Starks hit on the reach-in on Hornacek.
Fouls on the 14, Jeff Hornacek. His first in the last.
It is a non-shooting foul.
Non-shooting foul.
45 seconds remaining in the first. And Ewing not able to hold on, so Phoenix gets it back. Now Kevin Johnson being played by the rookie Greg Anthony, and a foul call.
In the penalty.
Well, at least Greg is providing some contact on Kevin Johnson.
Number 2, Greg Anthony.
We're set for an update. Let's go to the MSG Sports Desk for Bob Page.
All right, Marvin, Philadelphia tonight. That's Mitch Richmond of Sacramento with the ball. Watches his pass is stolen by Charles Barkley. Sir Charles takes it all the way himself for 2 points in what turned out to be a Sixers 108-96 victory over the Kings. Back to you.
Number 34, Jim Perry returns to the Suns lineup.
All right, Bob. Kevin Johnson hitting on the first. Tim Perry is back in. 32 32 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Kevin Johnson's free throw shooting has dropped off this season.
But boy, the attempts have gone up. In the last 2 games, as a matter of fact, he has scored 30 points from the foul line.
Shot clock at 8. Here's Ewing. Yes, and it counts. It has been an extraordinary first quarter for Patrick Ewing. He's 7 for 9 from the field. West called for the foul, and he's 4 out of 4 from the line.
And it's the variety that's so interesting for Patrick. We've seen a couple of baskets like this one and a prior one that looked very simple several minutes ago, off a side drive off the backboard, done like a little guy. The variety is very interesting. A good sign for Patrick. This reminds me of a college game or even a high school game, Marv, where the one big scorer has taken over the game for one team. It's unusual to see such domination in the NBA these days.
And he now has 19 points. Mark West departs. Tom Chambers back. Final seconds of the quarter. Here's Chambers for 3. 4 seconds remaining in the quarter. Anthony. So that's the end of the first here in Phoenix. Patrick Ewing with 19, but the Knicks trail the Suns by the score of 36-32.
I am Nadia Comaneci. You're watching MSG Network. The best in the game. They are not a perfect champ, but they will be.
Earlier said you paid a dear price. Are you sorry?
Not at all. I'm happy with the move. I like X. I'm glad he's doing well with New York. But we have Gerard Mustaf, who's going to be our future power forward. He's 22 years old. When X's name is not in the box score, the people in New York will see Mustaf's name.
The Suns gave up Eddie Johnson and 2 number 1s to get Xavier McDaniel. After McDaniel goes to New York, basically the trade turns out to be 2 number 1s and Eddie Johnson for Gerard Mustaf.
And Gerard, as I mentioned, has not been getting as much playing time as he would have liked.
He's quoted in today's paper, big story about Gerard is saying, other than basketball, things are going great in his life.
You've had the same philosophy, haven't you? Quarter is underway, and the Suns lead the Knicks by the score of 36-32. Starks and Anthony at the guards, Ewing with Vandeweghe and Mason up front. Patrick Ewing with 19 points in the first quarter. Kevin Johnson had 13. Tom Chambers with 12. Shot clock is at 5. Shot clock at 1. And it's a 24-second violation. And here comes Gerard Mustaf. Knicks first-round draft pick last year. Gerard Mustaf out of the University of Maryland. And the newest Knick, James Donaldson, getting set to check in. Oh, good play on the tie-up. Mason able to steal. Ewing setting position. Anthony. Rebounded by Ewing. It will be Nick Ball.
You see the adjustment the Suns have made by double-teaming Ewing now when he gets the ball. They're not waiting, as Fitzsimmons said before the game, for him to put it on the floor. They're going to him right away.
So Patrick Ewing sits down with 19. James Donaldson made his Knick debut Saturday against Denver, played 9 minutes. Starks. Looks like he hurt his finger.
Number 24, Tom Chambers.
Telling Knicks trainer Mike Saunders that he's all right.
Notice he's not going over for help, though. He wants to stay in the game. It's his left hand as well.
And the matchup is Donaldson against Mustaf. Marley shaking loose.
Basic basketball. The Knicks failed that one. Marley just cut across the middle, right under the basket.
Suns lead it 38-32. Good job of fronting by Chambers against Donaldson. Anthony, nice move. Greg Anthony able to hit off the spin. The Suns 38 and the Knicks 34. Just over 2 minutes gone by in the second. Perry try to serve up a facial at James Donaldson. Nice lead from Anthony.
Heads-up play by Greg Anthony. With Kevin Johnson starting as he did tonight, Greg Anthony is going to loom very important, although Kevin Johnson's not on the floor now.
So the Knicks down by 2. And Tim Perry demonstrates the outside touch. Suns lead it 40-36.
Knicks are not doing a good job defending against jump shooters. The jump shooting of the Suns is is effective because no one's putting their hands up.
And Donaldson went short. Mason took a shot. And he'll go to the line. Xavier McDaniel is back, replacing Kiki Vandeweghe. Rod Mustaf called for the foul. Anthony Mason walking it off.
Number 14, Anthony Mason at the line.
The Knicks front line is now Donaldson at center with Mason and McDaniel. Anthony and Starks at the guards. Anthony Mason, a 65% free throw shooter. Marv Albert, John Andres from the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix. Start of a 3-game Western road trip. The Knicks face the Lakers in Los Angeles on Wednesday night. We'll be on the air starting 10:30 on MSG Network. Pat Riley makes his return to the Forum in Inglewood. Here's Chambers, and he's fouled. And then Thursday night, the Knicks go up against the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento. That'll be a 10:30 start, New York time. Donaldson called for the foul, and Chambers to the free throw line.
Chambers, a very aggressive offensive player, came back after that 7-game absence on Friday night, got right into stride with 25 points, and followed that up Saturday with 21 points in a win against the Clippers.
And Tom Chambers has turned it over the second half of the season, and as we mentioned earlier, he is back from a 7-game absence because of a pulled hamstring. Despite their recent slump following the All-Star break, Phoenix has won only 2 and lost 5. The Suns have won 31 of the last 44 games. They began the season at 3 up and 8 down.
Yes, this is a team that considers itself a contender for the Western Conference title.
And they'll jump it up. James Donaldson and Tom Chambers, who certainly have faced each other on a number of occasions, and one-time teammates at Seattle. Loose ball foul.
Loose ball foul on number 9, Van Marley.
It's on Marley.
Saturday was a tough day for Donaldson. He got up in the morning, took a 7 o'clock plane from Dallas, went through a physical in New York, had to meet the media, be asked a million questions about taping recordings with team meetings in Dallas. Got through that and then played a game at night. He's got some rest now, has himself together.
And Chambers with the rebound. Suns with a 4-point lead. 4 minutes gone by in the second. Mustaf able to line drive it home over Mason. Suns by 6. Crowd reacting to the name Gerard. Actually, in New York, it was Mustaf. It's become Mustaf here.
Yes.
Mason. Pretty turnaround pop by Anthony Mason. And the Suns now lead by 4.
Cotton Fitzsimmons has to like the mismatches he has in his favor at the forward position size-wise. 6'10" Mustaf against Xavier McDaniel. Gerard got his way, drew a foul. At the same time, Anthony Mason going up against Tom Chambers, another height advantage for the Phoenix Suns. Chambers at 6'10", Mason at 6'8".
McDaniel called for the foul, his second.
Mason actually 6'7".
Mustaf again. And you know that Gerard wants to have a good one against his former club.
The Suns forwards are shooting over the Knicks forwards.
Daniel forced outside by Mustaf. Shot clock at 7. Starks. And Mustaf on the rebound. He's played well. Here's Marley. Marley for 3. Anthony going behind the back. Anthony going all the way. And back come the Suns.
Nice job by Starks. He took space away from Kevin Johnson.
Marley set up by Johnson. Suns 48 and the Knicks 40.
Knicks are not tight enough defensively inside the foul line.
Timeout called by the Knicks. And this capacity crowd responding to the Suns.
The Coca-Cola Concert Series presents Dick Fox's first annual Doo-Wop Festival at the Paramount this Saturday, February 29th at 8 p.m. See 10 of the greatest names in classic street corner style music, including the Platters and Cadillacs. Tickets are still available at the Garden Box office and all Ticketmaster locations. To charge, call 212-307-7171.
Patrick Ewing has returned, and has returned in a very big way. He now has 21. The Suns lead it 48-42. John, I notice ever since you have been reading more and more of these promotional announcements, you're doing an old radio style, cupping the ear with your hand. Very, very impressive.
Well, as a member of the Jim Carvelis fan club.
Yes, Jim, one who is a practitioner of that style. Greg Anthony has played well here in the second quarter. The Suns with a 48-44 lead. There he is. The radio voice of the New York Knicks, Jim Carvelis. Bringing back the old radio style from his days broadcasting the Chicago Zephyrs. Here's Marley on the follow. And the Suns now lead at 50-44.
Knicks are allowing an awful lot against them. No box outs, a lot of inside stuff, if you'll pardon the expression, Marv, inside stuff. And Pat Riley's got to be unhappy about the defensive play of his team.
I know Ahmad and Willow will be so pleased that you're thinking of them at all times. 22nd timeout taken by Pat Riley, who, as you can imagine, is a bit upset. He was in the face of Gerald Wilkins just a moment ago. This program is authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated is prohibited.
Now, if you had cupped your ear, that would have sounded a little better, I think. Go ahead.
You know, I think you're right. Gerald Wilkins off the crossover had it deflected by Marley, and it looked like he jammed a finger in the process. 9 on the shot clock. 5:10 to go in the second quarter. McDaniel with the spin. Yes, the X-Man hits against his former club, and the Suns now lead it 50-46. There's Kevin Johnson battling his way, and it will be Nick Ball.
I thought it might have been an offensive foul.
Apparently a travel was called.
Anthony played him quite well, stayed in front of him. That is the art of defense, staying in front of the man going to the hoop.
Called for a traveling violation. McDaniel setting the pick. Here's Wilkins for 3. Hit one earlier. Oakley with the rebound. Chambers trying to help out. McDaniel shooting. And the ball goes back to Phoenix. Pat Riley wants Xavier McDaniel to be more physical with his play, which is something Fitzsimmons wanted last year. Also wants Xavier to take more shots.
Yes, he wants him to be more assertive offensively, to go and get the ball. Don't wait for the offense to come to him.
Perry off some crisp passing.
How easy can it get? I mean, no one's in front of Perry. 1-2 passes, and then the Suns are getting exactly what they want inside that foul line. It's too easy.
And Phoenix leads by 6. Pat Riley says that Xavier has to get good position, create opportunities for himself, and says that X should make a commitment once a game. That's illegal defense called for the first time. That he should make a commitment at least once a game to get at least one basket off an offensive rebound, at least one on a fast break, and at least 4 free throws. If he gets that, he starts with 8 points, and the other 10 he can get in the offense. That's simplifying it a bit, but as you said, he wants him a bit more assertive.
As Pat said that in the postgame the other night. Gerald Wilkins with a spectacular drive. Slam dunk. And that's a very easy thing for a player to focus on as well.
And the foul is called on Anthony. Blocking foul. Mark West making his way back.
There was some motion on that blocking foul by Anthony, although he was in good position, and he's done a good job defensively.
Anthony picked up his 3rd, so sits down. Mark Jackson returns.
But you know, Marv, if you give a player a goal of 1, just do this one thing a game. Get a hoop off a fast break. Get a hoop off an offensive rebound. That isn't too much to ask, and it certainly would result in a guy focusing more, getting him to concentrate on those aspects.
Well, McDaniel agrees with everything that Riley has to say. Another block by Ewing, but West is able to put it home.
See, the Knicks are missing the physical part of Xavier McDaniel, or his reputation, I should say, under the basket. You don't sense him banging away under the hoop defensively.
5 blocks for Patrick Ewing. And it's Ewing from Jackson. 23 for Patrick Ewing. He's 9 for 11 from the field.
Knicks have to focus now on Jackson and Kevin Johnson and give him help.
The Knicks trail by 4. 2:45 remaining in the first half. Shot clock at 4. Wilkins. And Oakley able to keep it alive. Once again, the single coverage on Ewing, who goes right at West.
Knicks have to avoid the temptation to constantly go to Ewing. Later in the game, that could hurt them if Ewing loses the touch and no one has established any flow themselves.
3-second violation against the Suns. Fitzsimmons is upset, and a timeout has been taken. Fitzsimmons screaming in the direction of Paul Mahalik. He made that call. We'll be right back. One bounce pass from Mark Jackson, and the Knicks are within 2. 1:40 remaining in the first half. The Knicks and Suns meeting for the 2nd time this season. The Knicks won at the Garden back in early January, winning in overtime. 7 on the 24. There's Marley. He's blocked. Xavier McDaniel. And it goes back to Phoenix.
Xavier can ask for nothing more than that. He got a jump shot with plenty of time. He's had a couple of those that he's missed.
X-Man is 2 for 6. He has 4 points. Kevin Johnson with another strong drive. The Suns lead 56-52. McDaniel being played by Marley, one of the best defensive players in the NBA. Now some help. Hornacek over. Wilkins wide open. Good save by Jackson. And the Knicks get the new 24. Half 1/2 minute to go in this first half. Here's Jackson. Yes. So Jackson able to run Hornacek into the screen, and the Knicks trail by 2.
Knicks have got to look Oakley's way, or he's got to look their way. He seems to be a total non-participant in the offense tonight.
Charles attempting only 1 shot. Chambers had it knocked away. Marley for 3. Kept alive by Johnson. Chambers. Oh, he expected contact, but West is right there. 4 seconds remaining in the half. Suns by 4. Here's Jackson. Halftime in Phoenix. And the Suns lead the Knicks by the score of 58-54. Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk. That is coming up. And we'll also have a look at some of the first half highlights when we return. In the Valley of the Sun at the half, Phoenix Suns lead the New York Knicks 58-54. A sensational first half for Patrick Ewing, who has 23. But right now, let's go to the MSG Sports Desk. Here's Bob.
Thank you, Marv. Good evening, everybody. They had to go to overtime tonight at Providence to do it, but St. John's has once again grabbed a share of the lead in the Big East Conference. The Redmen dealt the Friars a 72-68 setback. Now, we believe that Louis has won 6 straight with this lucky green sweater. It wasn't lucky in the waning seconds of regulation. Corey Floyd misses a 3-pointer. Trent Forbes with the rebound hits the leaner past Lamont Middleton off the glass. That sent it to OT at 62. Redmond hadn't played an overtime game all year. Malik Sealy had 21 points off his miss. St. John's pounds the offensive glass. Finally, Middleton gets the putback. St. John's led by 3. Louis now up by 2. Signals for the old defensive stop, and the Red Men respond. Floyd misses a tray off the inbounds. Michael Smith boards out to Forbes. He throws up a triple, no good. Jason Buchanan rebounds to ice it as the Red Men point towards that showdown with Big East co-leader Georgetown at the Garden this coming Monday night. Also tonight, Rutgers won its Atlantic 10 game at home over Rhode Island, 76-67. So, check the Nets schedule out and see if you don't agree with me. If they don't beat the Celtics tomorrow night at the Meadowlands Arena, New Jersey could very easily lose the next 10 straight games after that. If it's any consolation, they are facing a Boston team that itself has lost 6 of its last 8.
I haven't seen a game that they've lost that they couldn't have won had Larry been with them. So in other words, they're playing very good basketball. They got D. Brown back. Klein is a much better player for him now because he's got playing time. Pinckney's playing like a real pro. McHale is on his way back. So they get Larry back 1st of March and get to play 30 days with him. I think the teams that are counting them out will start to rethink their situation a little bit because they could be a very good basketball team come May and the latter 2 weeks of April.
Golden State's all-star guard Tim Hardaway today named NBA Player of the Week. He averaged about 30 points and 9 assists and leading the Warriors to a 4-0 record last week. The lone game in the NHL tonight was over at the Meadowlands Arena where the Devils came up surprisingly flat and lost to Minnesota 3-1. After Brian Bellows of the North Stars got the only goal of the first period, Tom Chorsky countered in the second. Darcy Wakala gets his glove on that shot, but it trickles past him, knotting the game at 1, number 15 for Chorsky. In the final minute of the period, Mike Craig takes a pass from Gaetan Duchesne. In on Chris Terreri, he scores the go-ahead goal. Duchesne himself tallied just 44 seconds into the final period, and that was it for the Devils tonight. Tomorrow evening, the Rangers host Chicago right here on MSG, and the Islanders play the Flyers in Philadelphia. More in a moment. And now, following the Yankees front office soap opera, today Daniel McCarthy kept his nomination alive as managing general partner. He rescheduled that meeting with Fay Vincent, baseball's commissioner, for next week to take the place of the fired Leonard Kleiman as CEO. The Yankees hired Joe Malloy, George Steinbrenner's 30-year-old son-in-law, back to Phoenix after again this time out.
In Phoenix, Marv Albert with John Andres at the half. The Suns lead the Knicks 58-54. A look at the leading scorers summary brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. I was going to, I'm reading, I was going to go like this, John. Advantage Jeep and Eagle. And it is Kevin Johnson with 15 points leading the way for Phoenix. Tom Chambers with 14. Jeff Hornacek hit 4 out of 4 from the floor. He has 9. While the Knicks, led by Patrick Ewing, 9 for 12 from the field, 23 points. Gerald Wilkins with 5 out of 9 for 11. And a good shooting half for both clubs. John, a question for you. I noticed the basketball motif tie. That's
yes,
it's very nice.
Is it pretty? Very nice tie, isn't it?
Very, very nice. You wear this only at basketball games?
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Does it wrinkle well? I mean,
it doesn't bounce. You know, you touch that again, I'm going to get my friend Connie Hawkins, who's a member of the Sun staff here.
Yes, the Hawk dropped by early. Do you have basketball pajamas also?
I'm going to ask him to dunk you on the way out tonight.
Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights, which are brought to you by Minolta, creators of the world's most responsive SLR cameras, the new Maxim XI series. And we mentioned the good first half for Kevin Johnson. 13 of his 15 coming in the first quarter.
Nick's not helping out Mark Jackson. Kevin Johnson sailing around Mark several times in the first half. Johnson again with the basketball, second leading assist man in the NBA, gives it up. Tom Chambers readily gives it up to Tim Perry. The nice shot over Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing, the big story, however, 9 field goals in the first half for the Knicks. He tore up the Phoenix Suns. A beautiful drive, one of his many shots in the first half.
23 for Ewing, along with 7 rebounds and 5 block shots, but the Knicks trail at the half by 4. Down to 8. McDaniel with the step off.
Hockey legends are coming to the Nassau Coliseum.
That's right. It's a thrilling round-robin tournament featuring your favorite alumni players from the Islanders, Rangers, and Flyers. There'll be a breakaway competition and an exclusive opportunity to meet your favorite players after the game. J.C. Penney presents the Hockey Legends Challenge along with WFAN and Sports Channel. Sunday, March 1st at 1 p.m. Tickets are on sale at the Nassau Coliseum box office. New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Reebok, who reminds you that life is short. Play hard.
Phoenix Suns leading the New York Knicks 58 to 54 as we close in on the start of play in the third quarter. Both clubs shot well in the first half. The Knicks at 50% on 23 for 46. And Phoenix 24 for 45 for 53% shooting.
Knicks getting 14 points thanks to Patrick Ewing in close, but look what the Phoenix Suns did. 28 points, much too easy for the Suns inside in the paint area. Those numbers say the defense wasn't too intense for both teams. No one's causing turnover problems on either team.
The Knicks at 34 and 19, leading the Atlantic Division by 4.5 over Boston. They have won 6 of the past 7 on the road. The road record is now 14 and 12. Remember, they lost their first 5 on the road, and since then, they've won 14 of 21 and 6 of the last 7. Pat Riley and his Knicks will move on to Los Angeles to face the LA Lakers. That'll be Wednesday night. 10:30 start on the MSG network. Now, the feeling Pat will be answering 2 questions over the next 48 hours as he meets up with the Los Angeles media. Will make his first appearance as coach of the Knicks at the Forum. The Knicks did play the Clippers out in Los Angeles earlier this season.
And he will be looking at a Lakers team quite different than the one he left. The Lakers team that's lost 7 in a row.
And we get underway here in the third quarter, and foul call on the Knicks. It's on Oakley. That's 3 on Oakley.
Knicks have to do a personality change, Marv, I think, in the second half. Ewing with 23 points. Your starting forwards, McDaniel and Oakley, with a total of 4, and that was all McDaniel. Oakley didn't score. They cannot live on Ewing for 48 minutes.
Anthony Mason replacing Charles Oakley. Kevin Johnson and Jeff Hornacek in the backcourt. Tom Chambers with Tim Perry and Mark West up front. Perry with a floater. And the Suns now lead 60-54.
Beautifully done by Tim Perry. Wilkins came over to deny him the baseline, and Perry made the necessary adjustment.
Mark Jackson and Gerald Wilkins at the guards. Up front, Patrick Ewing with Anthony Mason and Xavier McDaniel. Ewing with a forced shot. Mason and Chambers involved. And Chambers screaming in pain. Little Academy Award performance there, though. They will jump it up. They tied each other up.
Yes, Chambers hurting. Looked like his shoulder was hurting when he was locked up with Mason, who doesn't have much give in his arms. He is nothing but strong.
Nice play by Johnson to get it to West. And now McDaniel with the steal. McDaniel putting the move on West and called for the travel. One minute gone by in the third. Suns lead by 6. Hornacek and Perry able to keep it alive. It'll be Phoenix ball.
Nice job by Mason denying Perry, who had the position and the ball right under the hoop.
Chambers. Ewing with the spin. Patrick Ewing complaining that it was hacked.
Phoenix Suns work their offense around West. He's really not a participant. Everything seems to be from the perimeter until they get a drive opportunity.
Now Ewing sets the pick. Could not make the contact on Johnson. Nick Bench counting off the shot clock down to 5. Mason. Crowd reacts. They thought Ewing should have been called for a foul. Here's Kevin Johnson, and he is hit by Mark Jackson. So Johnson to the foul line.
At this point in the game, you have to say it's Patrick Ewing against the Suns offensively. There's nothing consistent coming from the other Knicks on the offensive end, and until that happens, the Knicks are going to be fighting an uphill battle.
Kevin Johnson is now 6 for 8 from the foul line. At one point, the Suns led by 8. The Knicks had a 7-point lead. Phoenix Suns at 34 and 21. They have dropped off recently. They're in third in the Pacific, 4 games behind Golden State and Portland. Warriors on a tear. They've won 7 in a row. Ewing. Well, Patrick Ewing is cooled off here in the third. Kevin Johnson trying to set up Jeff Hornacek. Here's Perry. And a loose ball foul being called. It's against the Suns. It's on West.
Ewing made a nice adjustment on that shot. He was in position to rebound the ball, but it hadn't cleared the cylinder, so he held up.
Second committed by Mark West, who
Perry going up for the shot. Ewing in great position, and he holds up. He lets it go. Well, as it came down, it bounced off his hand, but he didn't go after it wisely.
Second foul called on West. Here's Wilkins.
Nothing reliable coming from the perimeter for the Knicks.
Chambers. Nice catch by Chambers on the run. And the Knicks call for time. Suns lead 64-54. 3.5 minutes have gone by in the third, and the Knicks are 0 for the third quarter, and now trailing by 10. Biggest lead for either club. Chambers switching off, starting Wilkins. Here's Jackson. Yes. That was just within 2-point range, so the Knicks now trail 64-56. Perry shooting. And Ewing one hand. Jackson for Mason, and he's hit. So Mason will go to the line.
It's getting a fast break opportunity. They have been few and far between tonight. Jackson forcing the issue on that play nicely.
West called for the foul. Daniel will sit down. Starks is back. Knicks going with a 3-guard setup for the first time tonight. Andrew Lang and Dan Marley checking in now, replacing Tim Perry and Mark West. So Mason misses on both. Phoenix with an 8-point lead. Phoenix Suns checking their defensive assignments when they move back down court. Wilkins gives it up. And here's Hornacek. Pretty move. Hornacek extends to a 10-point Phoenix lead.
What keyed that was Marley's defense on Wilkins. Gerald flying to the hoop, could not get around Marley.
5 minutes gone by in the third. Starks. John Starks getting the roll. Suns lead 66-58.
Things have to happen for the Knicks around Ewing.
Nice feed. Starks finding the cutting Wilkins, and the Knicks have trimmed it to a 6-point Phoenix lead.
And things are happening around Ewing on the offense now. Soften up the Suns a bit.
Chambers with the step, and he took a bump. Foul on Mason.
Foul number 14, Anthony Mason.
It is a non-shooting foul, and Marley will throw it in. And Marley, a man who's made it back from off-season back surgery. He is the Suns' major defensive stopper. He is so important to this ball club. And Marley able to hit. There are many that feel he is the Suns' most valuable player. Dan Marley in his 4th year out of Central Michigan. Ewing, it counts, and the foul. He got the call, and now the foul being waved off.
500 Ewing.
Nice bounce pass by Wilkins into Patrick. Andrew Lang right on the case. Looked like a foul, but apparently it was not called, although Lang certainly reflects that it was.
Well, the whistle had blown, and it was an inadvertent whistle. The basket does count. Suns lead 68-62. Ewing has 25.
Knicks are putting together some momentum now on the offensive end, but this is the area where they have to work harder. Defense.
Marley and Mason leaping for the rebound. Anthony Mason has played well. Wilkins. So Gerald will go to the line. Anthony Mason has given the Knicks a lift. In particular with Charles Oakley very quiet tonight.
You know, it seems that Pat Riley recognizes when that's going to happen. The same with McDaniel early in the game, and then Oakley and McDaniel will sit several minutes if it looks like they are not going to get into it and get rolling. Pat Riley's patience level doesn't seem to be that deep with players who aren't performing right away.
Charles has Taking only one shot. He's 0 for 1, 4 rebounds, and that is it. 3 personal fouls. 5 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Loose ball foul call. Mason stepping in and called for the foul. So the Knicks have picked up their 14th foul. The Suns lead it by 5 with 5:35 left in the third quarter. Marv Albert with John Andres from the Valley of the Sun. Jackson knocked it away. Here's Wilkins eluding Marley. And Gerald Wilkins pulls one out from the slam dunk contest. Cotton Fitzsimmons taking a timeout. With a 68-65 lead on the Knicks. Suns led by as many as 10 just moments ago. Here's Hornacek. Oh, tough angle shot for Jeff Hornacek. He's now 7 for 9. He has 15 points, and Phoenix leads by 5. Jackson is fouled. Late whistle, though. Kevin Johnson picks it up. A vocal reaction from Mark Jackson, and that whistle was slightly late.
Yes, Mark was getting a massage from this guy. Kevin Johnson playing him very physically from behind, and the whistle was blown finally after the massage.
The double team on Ewing. And a 3-second violation called on the Knicks.
Well, the matchups are always interesting between these two teams. The Toyota matchup featuring the point guards for both teams. Kevin Johnson, 17 points, 6 assists, certainly leading in that matchup.
Greg Anthony also had a shot. Kevin Johnson. Hornacek changing his mind. Anthony played well, but picked up 3 fouls. And the loose ball on Lang. That's the second. Called on Andrew Lang.
Lang commits many fouls, as we mentioned earlier. His time has been limited significantly in the last several games because of fouls.
That foul putting the Suns over the limit. Patrick Ewing will go to the line.
Fortunately for the Suns, however, Cotton Fitzsimmons, who's discussing things right now, has the luxury of Mark West. There really isn't that much difference between Lang and West. Lang is a younger version of West. He's a little quicker, however. That's why he's got the starting nod these days. But West does a nice job as well.
Last year, Mark West in and out of the starting lineup. And he has been coming off the bench this season. Some will say he has lost his intensity. That's toward the end of last year, which was so critical to his game.
Well, he had his season high the other night against the Clippers when Lang got in foul trouble early. 16 points, 8 rebounds.
Technical foul called on Anthony Mason. And Hornacek missed the tee. Hornacek just under 90% from the foul line. It will be Phoenix ball. They lead by 3. Coming up on 4 minutes remaining in the third. And Lang missed on the tip-a-tap.
Over Ewing, and he almost made it.
Ewing setting the screen, starts way off, and Marley gathers the rebound in.
Kevin Johnson looking to set people up all the time. Second leading assist man in the NBA.
Mason closing the baseline, so Chambers went the other way. Lang lost it. Suns able to get back. Wilkins. And the foul called on Jackson.
Nice try by Gerald, but he ran out of legs at the end of that move as he tried to duck underneath for that shot.
Now both clubs are over the foul limit.
Knicks have made a splendid effort in coming back from that 10-point deficit they faced about 5 minutes ago. They did it without Patrick Ewing being so dominant as he was early in the game. Patrick with 19 in the first quarter. It's time for Patrick to step back into the picture, however, as the Knicks have closed this 10-point lead down to 3, with Chambers now looking to increase it.
He is 4 for 5 from the foul line. Tom Chambers shooting 79% from the line, averaging 16 points per game. Trying to bounce back from last year. Not a good one. He was hard hit by injury. Shot poorly at 44%. And that's where he is this season. Last year even volunteered to come off the bench. And only 2 years ago had his best as a pro. Averaged 27 per game. Shot 50%. Suns lead by 5. Starks from downtown. Starks on the follow, stopped by Lang, but Wilkins is right there.
Starks very angry with himself as he runs up court.
Phoenix by 3. Kevin Johnson. And the Suns now lead it 74-69.
He continues to go around Mark Jackson at will.
Ewing. Phoenix wanting a travel, but instead a pushing foul is called. Cotton Simmons. Did you say he's overacting?
Weeping. I want to see tears, Cotton, after that stance. That's the kind of behavior, however. We say it in fun. He's a great guy that gets your technical fouls because the fans are picking up Cotton's behavior.
Lang called for the foul as third.
You know, and the fans are starting to right.
Looked to be a phantom foul call. Suns now lead 74-70. So the Phoenix lead is 3. 2.5 remaining in the third. Again, Kevin Johnson beating Mark Jackson, but this time there was help and a foul call.
You know, it's every time, too. I mean, every time Kevin Johnson goes around Mark. Now, from Pat Riley's perspective, though, he gets leadership from Mark Jackson at the offensive end that he doesn't get from Greg Anthony. That's why Mark is out on the floor, despite the problem he's having with Kevin Johnson.
Sarcastic roar from the crowd greeting the foul call on Patrick Ewing. Looked like he hurt his elbow. Second foul called on Ewing.
Kevin Johnson on that penetrating move moments ago. You could see Ewing feeling the pain.
And Johnson hits both. Suns lead 76-71. We're winding down to 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Ewing. Here's Marley. And they will jump it out.
Ewing content to grab that ball and hold on to it rather than try and find an outlet person, because he's got to assume instinctively that he can out-jump anybody in a jump ball situation.
But Patrick Ewing looks to be hurting.
He could be a little weary too, Marv.
Buying some time right here. Patrick Ewing 10 for 17 from the field, 9 out of 9 from the foul line for 29 points. And the Suns control.
Miscommunication between Ewing and the man he wanted to tap it to, because he controlled it.
Now Wilkins on Johnson. Mason switching off, leaving Chambers open. It counts. And the foul. Foul committed by Starks.
He's tough. But at 6'10", and he shoots this ball a good distance from the basket. This isn't a layup. He smells that basket every time.
20 points for Tom Chambers. 5 out of 6 from the free throw line. Minute 26 remaining in the third. Suns 79, the Knicks 71.
Pat Riley sticking with the three-guard approach. It's brought the Knicks back, although this lead now is getting bigger again for the Suns.
Illegal defense. That's the second violation on the Suns, so it is a technical foul. And John Starks will shoot the technical.
Boy, Mark, by definition, McDaniel should be in this game a lot more than he is tonight. He just had no effect on this game. 2 out of 6 from the field. Charles Oakley quiet, as we had mentioned. I mean, you can't win big games when you're starting forwards. Don't add something.
And the Knicks have had that up and down play recently from Xavier McDaniel. Wilkins for 3. Ewing, oh, what a move by Patrick Ewing. In one motion, was able to get to the ball off the glass and put it home. Suns lead 79-74. Chambers stopped, and he's fouled.
Not going to sell that to Ewing, though. He felt he was all over that ball.
That's 3 on Ewing.
Another great angle at it. There's contact, though. There's got to be contact when 2 forces meet like that. Although Ewing probably didn't feel the contact because he was up so high on the ball.
And Charles Oakley is getting set to come on for Patrick Ewing.
Knicks do miss Charles on the offensive boards because on their missed shots, they're getting no offensive rebounding.
So Patrick sits down with 31 points. Now Tim Curry returns, replacing Andrew Lang. Lang has not scored. Leaves with 3 fouls. Chambers 6 for 7 from the line. Suns 81. And the Knicks 74. 45 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Knicks depending on outside play now for their offense. Mason and Oakley out there. They will go to the outside men.
Shot clock at 3. Jackson. Mark Jackson attempting the three-pointer with the clock winding down. So it'll be Phoenix possession with 25 seconds remaining in the third. Seconds to go. Shot clock and the game clock are concurrent. Chambers. And that is the end of the third quarter. It's the Phoenix Suns 81, the New York Knicks 74.
The difficulty was out, and I stopped running into things, and the grill and his staff helped me out a little bit. And with the blindfold on, it just made things a little bit easier. You know what I mean?
Cedric, I see what you mean. Marv, do you see what Cedric means?
That is so hokey, John. What a brutal attempt at humor.
I wish to remind you, though, it was your idea, that silliness. Remember that? Remember before the game we had that meeting?
By golly, that's
Howie
true.
Singer took you serious.
Yes, the electronic wizard will do anything. Gerald Wilkins able to hit on a drive as we open up the fourth quarter, and the Suns now lead 81 to 76. Mustaf has made his return, played well in the second quarter. Suns have led by as many as 10 and now lead by 5. The Knicks have Oakley up front with Mason. Patrick Ewing sitting down after picking up his third foul. And the Knicks staying with the 3-guard alignment. Anthony Mason is called for the offensive foul. That's 4 on Anthony Mason. James Donaldson getting set to check in.
Pat Riley letting Ewing rest a bit now, also with the 3, but he'll be back shortly.
Good play by Oakley to break up the pass. Here's Mason. Rejected by Johnson.
How about that?
You know, that's a great phrase. I think it'll work better in baseball, though.
Kevin Johnson, at 6'1", denying the Knicks big man on a fast break. That's his 20th block of the season. Anthony Mason going up. Kevin Johnson up a little higher, however, to send that one back.
James Donaldson has checked in, replacing Anthony Mason. Greg Anthony getting set to come on.
You know, Mark, the position shot blocks, if Kevin Johnson was on the Knicks, he'd be the second leading shot blocker after Ewing.
Off the steal, Hornacek holds up. Here's Perry. It's the Suns 83 and the Knicks 76. 8 points for Perry. Starks won't count. Offensive foul called on Charles Oakley. Tom Chambers returns. Chambers, Mustaf, Perry up front. And Marley and Johnson now in the backcourt for the Phoenix Suns. 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Chambers. And the Suns lead by 9. 22nd timeout is called by the Knicks.
The X-Man did not respect Chambers. He was wide open. Xavier was worried about clogging the middle, helping out, but with Chambers being one pass away from the man who had the ball, he deserves to be closer. He should be closer to Chambers.
Good run by the Phoenix Suns here in the fourth quarter. Suns led by Tom Chambers, who has 25. Kevin Johnson with 21, along with 7 assists. Patrick Ewing sitting down. He leads the Knicks with 31. And now getting set to make his return.
Patrick cooled down after that blistering first quarter when he had 19. He's been cool ever since. The team has come back and showed some variety in the offense, but they need Patrick to erupt now.
And a foul is called of Ewing. Tried to establish position. He was hit from behind. Pushed by Chambers.
One of the things that's helped the Suns' effort now, contrary to what Cotton Fitzsimmons' game plan was before the game, and that is guarding Ewing one-on-one. They are doubling him every time he gets the ball.
Here comes the double team and a foul on Johnson.
Kevin's such a gentleman. Congratulating the official on the call. A little pat on the back.
Following the initial argument.
Ewing gets the ball. Kevin comes in from behind. He loves to bother those big guys.
Ewing is 9 for 9 for the foul line. So the Knicks now trail by 8. This the first of a 3-game Western road trip. Wednesday night at the Forum in Inglewood, the Knicks go up against the Los Angeles Lakers. Thursday night They face the Kings in Sacramento and return to the Garden for a Saturday afternoon game against Minnesota.
What a weird feeling that's going to be for Pat Riley, walking into the Forum and sitting at the other end of the arena.
And the Lakers have lost 7 in a row. Illegal defense called against the Knicks.
Illegal defense warning charged against the Knicks.
That is a warning. The Suns have been hit by 2. So a new 24 for the Phoenix Suns.
They're isolating Kevin Johnson. Pat Riley's reminding his team to help out, and they did.
Perry, Oakley to the boards. 3-on-2. McDaniel, yes. Suns lead 85-80. For the X-Man, only his 3rd field goal. He has 6 points. McDaniel over to help on a double team. Chambers called for steps.
Pat Riley now going with his starting front line. However, in the backcourt, he's liked what he's seen from Greg Anthony and John Starks tonight.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see if things do tighten up. Pat Riley moves John Starks over on Kevin Johnson. That was successful in the earlier game at the Garden. Patrick Ewing cuts it to a 3-point Phoenix lead.
Yes, in that game, Kevin Johnson started to get rolling, and Pat Riley recalled a discovery assistant coach Jeff Van Gundy had made in scouting the Suns, and that is that Kevin Johnson has a problem with tall guards guarding him at the end of games, and that paid off as Kevin Johnson was virtually shut down in the closing minutes and in the overtime in that Knicks win in the Garden.
22nd timeout was called by the Suns. 8:21 remaining in this 4th quarter, and the Knicks now trail by only 3. Reminder, tomorrow at 7:30, it's the Chicago Blackhawks going up against the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden. Rangers coming off the overtime victory over the Philadelphia Flyers. Ranger game night at 7. And airtime at 7:30. Rangers and the Blackhawks from the Garden, right here on MSG. And let's see, is that a backcourt violation? Yes, it is.
Wally dribbled the ball off his foot into the backcourt. Most embarrassing. Paul Westphal can't believe it next to Cotton. Paul, you must have done it a few times in your distinguished career.
Fitzsimmons surrounded by 2 pretty fair players on the bench as assistants, Westphal and Lionel Hollins. Here's Johnson off the steal. Nice feed. Perry making contact. Offensive foul on Tim Perry.
Patrick Ewing discussing the official, the fact that he was bumped, and that's why he coughed that ball up. But the Knicks fortunately got back quickly in transition. Perry committing the offensive foul.
McDaniel feeling for Perry. Double team, so throws it out. Anthony. Oh, bad pass. Starks able to get it back.
Boy, Starks sticks his head right down into the middle of everything.
Strong move by Ewing to cut it to 1. The Suns 85, the Knicks 84.
Knicks are really into it now.
Patrick Ewing with 37 points. In that first meeting in New York, he had 37. Chambers. And the foul against the Knicks.
Well, the X-Man went into the air to guard Chambers before Chambers even started his move.
McDaniel called for his 3rd.
But that's a good sign in the sense, Marv, that McDaniel really looks alive.
Well, he's been well rested.
Yes, he has.
And the foul is called. A two-hand check, says Louis Grillo.
Fouls number 3.
It's on Starks. That's 2 on Starks. So both clubs have 2 team fouls.
Sounds like a hockey term. Two-hand check.
That's right. Full hand check. Hornacek. And Oakley's done a nice job off the board. The Suns by 1. They've led by as many as 10 on a couple of occasions. It appeared that they were about to put this one in the blowout form. Oakley able to save it. McDaniel, it's a 24-second violation. And the Suns call for time. 6:28 remaining in the fourth.
Call to the bench is brought to you by New York Telephone, who reminds you the New York Telephone regional calling area is bigger than you think. And the Suns are a little bigger than the Knicks are from the bench tonight. Also shooting the ball much better, 9 out of 16, 18 points. Knicks not too far behind with 15 points from the bench.
And there's Tanya Crevier. I know one of your favorites. We see her all around the NBA. For her dribbling expertise, puts on a dazzling show.
Oh, she's amazing.
Foul called on Anthony, a blocking foul. For Greg Anthony, that is his fourth. 6:13 remaining in the fourth quarter. Phoenix with an 85-84 lead on the Knicks. Johnson got caught in the air.
Tim Perry creamed John Starks. Perry trying to keep Starks from the loose ball, and the foul was called on Perry, and John Starks enthusiastically supported the official.
And again, the Knicks have a chance to take the lead. Down by as many as 10. Here is Ewing. It's a tough shot to understand. He did not even have the proper grip on the ball. He's upset with himself. Patrick Ewing has had an outstanding game. 13 for 21, 37 points. And I can recall only one other shot that could be questioned. You really have to look very carefully. Starks with a good play, but Johnson recovers and finds Hornacek. And let's see what the call is here. Will it count? Yes, it does. And the foul on Anthony.
Bob, Greg Anthony made an amazing play, however. In transition, Johnson pushing it up, and Anthony got over there so quickly. He covered some ground and almost made an incredible defensive play. No complaints with Greg Anthony from Pat Riley's perspective on that play.
Anthony picks up his 5th foul. Here's Hornacek. 3-point play. Suns with an 88-84 lead. Chant of defense from this capacity crowd. Again, the double team on Ewing.
Oh, boy, did he fall into the trap. They converged on him, and the tall play of Chambers, the tall man coming over, took away all the vision from Ewing.
Hornacek for 3. Well, 2 enormous plays by Jeff Hornacek. And the Suns by 7 as the Knicks take a timeout.
Well, the Phoenix Suns putting on a spurt now as the Knicks were close to taking the lead. 5:10 to go in the game. Suns looking pretty good now, thanks to Jeff Hornacek's long-range shooting. Anthony makes Kevin Johnson give it up. Jeff Hornacek lands a bomb. He's the 6th best in the NBA, as a matter of fact, right now. Jeff shoots those
long ones quite well. 42% from three-point range. He's hit 2 of 2 tonight. Phoenix 3 for 6 from downtown. The Knicks are only 1 out of 8. Jeff Hornacek, the son of a high school coach in Chicago's western suburbs, all-state high school player, yet made it to college only as a walk-on at Iowa State, and has blossomed in the NBA the last 2-3 seasons. And the foul is called on West as Ewing began the move. Just under 5 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. The Knicks are down by 7. 3 on West, 4 on the team. Mark Jackson has returned. Knicks stay with the 3 guards, Jackson, Wilkins, and Starks. Good defensive sequence by the Suns. Chambers with the rebound. And a reach-in is called. Don Ewing. So that's 4 on Ewing, and the Knicks are now over the limit. Chambers 8 for 9 from the line. Final scores from elsewhere in the NBA. Golden State continuing its hot play. They defeat Dallas 138-131. Golden State has won 8 in a row. And it's Philly over Sacramento 108-96. Seattle beats Minnesota 106-91. Atlanta 117, Denver 95. All final scores. 4.5 remaining in the fourth. And the Knicks trail by 9. Starks with the step. Good recovery by West. And again, the excellent defense by the Suns. Starks the 3. Yes. John Starks hits from downtown, and the Knicks now trail 93-87.
Suns remember John Starks from the Garden display he put on, and it all came toward the end of the game there.
Chambers blocked by Ewing.
One of the great blocks because it was controlled by the Knicks.
7 rejections for Patrick Ewing. Jackson, yes, and he flashes the teardrop to us.
I knew you were waiting for that.
Suns 93, and the Knicks 89. Shot clock at 10. Chambers. Oh, what a shot by Tom Chambers. The Suns lead 95-89.
Pat Riley has to be wondering why he wasn't getting this defensive effort for most of this game.
Here's Wilkins for 3. And the Suns with a 4-on-1. Marley is fouled by Jackson.
Well, the Knicks are playing at a different defensive intensity level for the last couple of minutes than they have played throughout the game.
Number 9, Dan Marley goes to the line.
You know, Dan Marley, who comes off the bench for the Phoenix Suns, Marv, just reflecting on Marley's career, I have to think he's the closest thing to John Havlicek when John came off the bench for the Boston Celtics. He's similar in size, and he's so versatile. He'll play any position except center on the court for the Phoenix Suns, and he is such a committed defensive player.
In the comparison to Havlicek, though, Marley does it more with defensive work. Doesn't give it the instant offense that Havlicek could provide, but that may come as his career progresses. This is only his 4th year in the NBA. Not that he'll be the offensive force of Havlicek, but certainly might approach him in terms of value to his ball club. Suns lead 97-89 with 2:50 to go in the fourth. Wilkins, Gerald Wilkins, with a sensational driving move. Gerald with 22. Suns lead 97-91.
3 seconds!
Hornacek. He's hit from behind. Foul on Starks.
Knicks are helping out so much more in the last several minutes. They're doubling, and then they're retreating, covering their men after they would leave their men to help out. Oakley did a good job on that last sequence.
Number 14, Jeff Hornacek at the line. 2 shots.
So Hornacek to the foul line.
Talking about this man's career, now an NBA All-Star, Marv. Amazing to think when he was drafted, he was the 46th player chosen, a second-round draft pick, who has gone on to become an NBA All-Star.
Hornacek has missed a couple at the line. And he's just under 90% from the foul line. Suns lead 98-91. Patrick Ewing and Gerald Wilkins have combined to score 51 of the Knicks' 91 points. Except that 59 of the 91. Oakley will shoot a pair, and the Knicks are looking for a flagrant foul, and they get it. 2 shots plus possession.
Well, it's a simple call in that you've got to play the ball. You can't just shove a man, and we'll get a look at what happened just now. Ewing beautifully responding with the pass. And Hornacek from behind instinctively pushes Charles to the ground. No attempt to play the ball.
Oakley a 75% free throw shooter. Wonder how he'll be affected, though, with no one at the free throw line. Charles has had his problems late in games at the line, and the situation is even more difficult with nobody around.
He's looking down instead of looking at the rim and acquainting himself with what he's going to do.
But he hits 1 out of 2, and now it will be Nick Ball. For Oakley, his first point of the game. The Suns lead by 6. See the time remaining. The next foul will put Phoenix over the limit. There it is, Hornacek. And that'll send Starks to the line. So both clubs now over the foul limit. John Starks, a 76% free throw shooter. The Knicks and the Suns each have 3 timeouts remaining. They use their 20s. So the Knicks missing critical foul shots once again. Oakley misses, and then Starks. And it was a 5-point lead, could have been down to 3. And the foul on Starks. That is his 4th. So the Suns back to the line.
Hornacek at 6'4" handles the ball quite well. Starks was all over him, but he kept protecting the ball, wouldn't let Starks near him.
Hornacek is 3 out of 5 from the line. Phoenix 100. And the New York Knicks 93 with just a shade under 2 minutes remaining in the 4th. Starks lost his balance and he's tied up. It'll be West and Starks on the jump, but first a timeout called by Cotton Fitzsimmons with 1:49 remaining in the 4th quarter. Wednesday night at the Forum in Inglewood, California, the Knicks and the Los Angeles Lakers. And we'll be on the air starting at 10:30 on the MSG network as Pat Riley makes his return, but he'll be checking out the visiting locker room at the Forum. Starks and West on the tip, controlled by Phoenix. 1:45 remaining in the 4th. So the Suns in possession, and they lead it by 7. close throughout. Phoenix on a couple of occasions leading by as many as 10. Jackson called for the block. And the Knicks led by as many as 7. Kevin Johnson to the line, 9 for 11. From the line, he is 21. Tom Chambers, the high man, with 29. 22 for Jeff Hornacek. Johnson with 21. Marley has 10. For the Knicks, only 2 players in double figures. Patrick Ewing with 37. Gerald Wilkins with 22. And that's been it.
This game started like it was going to be a very high-scoring game, but it's winding down so that neither team will hit their average for the year. 36 points by the Suns in the first quarter.
Phoenix 102, the Knicks 93. Jackson stopped. Chambers with the block. Phoenix Suns seeking to continue the turnaround, coming off a good effort against the LA Clippers here on Saturday night. Foul on Wilkins. Gerald discussing it with Tommy Nunez. And again, Kevin Johnson to the line.
Those discussions usually emanate from the player who had the foul called on him saying, what did I do? The official, if he's a nice guy, explains the error of the defender's ways.
So the Suns lead it by 10.
Suns the 3rd leading scoring team in the NBA, and they only have 104 right now.
And the Knicks number 3 defensively, allowing just under 100 points per game. We're coming up on 1 minute remaining in the 4th quarter. This crowd beginning to file out. It's the biggest lead of the night. Ewing lost the grip. Shot clock at 5. Jackson blocked by West. So the Suns will just run it down. 35 seconds to go. And a standing ovation from the crowd.
Pat Riley just imploring his team to get up and guard the Suns, create something. He is competing to the final second, and he's unhappy.
Foul on Oakley.
Another look at Riley a moment ago.
One plus the penalty for 2 shots.
Tom to the line. He's 10 of 11 from the foul line.
Chambers has been a constant throughout this game. He did not tune in and tune out offensively. It seems that he's been there in the Knicks knickers all night long. I mean, he has been a major problem.
Down to 20 seconds remaining in the game. Jackson. So the Suns now lead 104 to 95. Final seconds. And Hornacek will just run it out. The Suns defeat the Knicks 104 to 95 to gain a split on the season series. Phoenix now 35 and 21, and the Knicks are 34 and 20. So the Knicks now with a 4-game lead over the Boston Celtics, who are not scheduled. And Phoenix remains 4 games behind Golden State Warriors with the victory over Dallas earlier tonight. We'll be back to recap right after these messages.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanation. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration not his perspiration. Right guard sports stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
You see, I figured it was another tie. But when I open the box, I see this thing that looks like a baby typewriter. So I asked, what is it? She says it's a Brother P-Touch. She says it's a new electronic labeling system that makes adhesive labels in 5 sizes, 4 styles, and lots of colors. First, I labeled file folders, computers.
Took charge.
Yes, both teams really played similarly in the second half, it seemed. The defense was rather close. Only 6 points separated the two in the second half. But I think, in retrospect, what Pat Riley won't be happy about is the intensity level defensively. In the closing minutes didn't resemble what it was for the first 3 quarters plus some minutes. The Knicks really played tough down the stretch, but it was a little too late.
And you could see that he was very annoyed in those closing moments. As you say, the fact that he was not pleased with the defensive play of the Knicks. Looked to be seething as he headed to the Knicks locker room. The Evian player of the game is Tom Chambers with 29 points, 9 rebounds, hit 9 of 20 from the field, and spent quite a bit of time at the foul line.
Tom Chambers so tough going to the basket at all times. Plus, he's a great outside shooter.
All right, we'll be back with a look at the leading scorers in a moment.
Dealers are cutting deals like never before. With savings in their biggest Toyota selection ever. Cut a great deal on a Camry. All new design gives you more power, more room, more features standard, like driver's side airbag. There's more built-in value than ever. Cut your deal and financing now. It's cutting deals days at your Toyota dealer. But hurry before all these great deals are cut. That's what I...
In Phoenix, moments ago, the Suns defeated the Knicks 104-95. A look at the leading scorer summary brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealers. Advantage Jeep and Eagle. Tom Chambers with a big performance, 29 points. Chambers had missed 7 games, and that really hurt the Suns in that recent down stretch. He's been out with a pulled hamstring. 29 for Chambers. Kevin Johnson at 25. Jeff Hornacek, 22. A couple of big three-pointers for Hornacek. Dan Marley with 10 points. While the Knicks were led by Patrick Ewing. Ewing with 37 on 13 for 22 from the field. Also 11 for 11 from the line. Ewing with 10 rebounds and 7 blocked shots. Gerald Wilkins with 22, and Mark Jackson had 10 points. So it was only Ewing and Wilkins contributing to the offense. And the Phoenix Suns get a split of the season series, and they go to 35 and 21 for the season.
I thought this year I'd have to postpone.